So it turns out it's way easier than you think to be a good friend. Or certainly it's more simple than what you might think. Of course, if you want to build and maintain friendships over the long term, you gotta show up, you gotta take the initiative, you gotta initiate hangouts. That's something I often say. And, and those are efforts, but they're not very big efforts. And a lot of people don't make those efforts. I was in China for 6 months and I didn't focus on making friends. I was like, you know what? I don't care. It's not what I'm doing right now. I will say it's a bit harder, especially when you don't speak Chinese. But you can be fluent. But that's maybe for another video. But I did make a couple friends, and there's this one friend. She's from France, and she's been living in China for 15 years, and in that particular city for 2 or 3 years. She speaks Chinese. She presumably knows a lot of people, and I had only met her a handful of times, but we really got along the second time we met. We really hit it off, and we were like, we're gonna be friends. And after meeting maybe like 5 times, she got injured. And she needed to go to the hospital, so she was in the hospital for a week. We were texting. She told me that, and I was like, oh wow. And I was like, can I come over? Would you like that? And she was like, yeah, that'd be great. And so I went to the hospital. We had some food together. We hung out, and she really appreciated it. And to me, it was fairly normal. I mean, she's someone I like. She's at the hospital. And a few weeks later, when we said goodbye, because I left China, she told someone that I was the only person who came to visit her in the hospital, and how much she appreciated that. I was like, oh wow, it doesn't take much to be. Because she said I was her best friend in the city, even though I had only been there for a little bit. Um, I don't know, maybe that says a lot about the way she makes friends. It could be that. But I just showed up. And she said something like, you can tell who your real friends are, in those moments, and I think it's true. And also, I think it's not a, it's also not a bad thing to not go to the hospital to see someone if you don't genuinely want to be friends with them. I've felt this a few times, like on social media. There's someone that I know, maybe an acquaintance, a potential friend, and I see they're going through something, and I'm like, well, do I want to send them a message and be like, hey, I'm here for you? And sometimes I come to the realization that no, I don't want to do that because I don't, it's just you only have so much energy, and you gotta select people, and that's okay. You're not gonna be friends with everyone, but if you do want to be friends with them, it doesn't take that much. So it's like, I think Chris Williamson um, talked about this. I can't quite remember, but they were talking about dating and how the bar is super low. And if you want to stand out, it's just not, you don't have to do that much. Like, learn how to be a good listener and maybe work out, and you'll be, way better than with competition. And with friendship, I think it's the same thing. Um, just do a little bit better than most people. Not that that it's a competition, but yeah, it doesn't take